Commandment 6 Thou shalt not kill. Separation, separation from the sanctity of life. Life is one of the greatest gifts entrusted to humanity. Whenever life is treated as disposable, exploitable, or without inherent worth, consciousness becomes increasingly separated from compassion. Violence is not merely an act of the hands. It often begins within the heart, in hatred, in contempt, and indifference, in the willingness to reduce another living being to an object rather than recognizing their inherent value. The sixth commandment reveals the separation that appears whenever reverence for life is forgotten. What it preserves, the sanctity of life. Every civilization depends upon recognizing that life possesses intrinsic value. This commandment preserves more than survival. It preserves compassion, dignity, mercy, empathy. It reminds us that life is not ours to treat carelessly. To honor life is to participate in the flourishing of creation itself. Living principle. Honor life whenever you encounter it. Become a protector rather than a destroyer. Unconditional love does not ask which life deserves compassion. It asks, how can I become a greater expression of compassion? The more separation dissolves, the more difficult it becomes to intentionally cause unnecessary suffering. Love naturally expands, first toward ourselves, then toward our families, then toward strangers, eventually toward all living beings. Not because every life is identical, but because every life is sacred. The highest expression of love does not divide compassion according to species. It recognizes the miracle of life whenever it appears. Modern application. Violence appears in many forms: physical violence, domestic abuse, bullying, hatred, dehumanization, cruelty, neglect, exploitation, human trafficking, torture, the destruction of another person's dignity through words or actions. The sixth commandment invites us to approach each of these with one guiding question: does this choice increase unnecessary suffering, or does it increase compassion? Modern society often separates itself from the consequences of its choices. Violence becomes hidden. Consumption becomes disconnected from its source. This commandment invites us to become conscious once again, to see clearly, to choose deliberately, to cultivate a life that increasingly reflects compassion rather than indifference. Whether caring for another human being, rescuing an abandoned animal, protecting a forest, or choosing how we nourish ourselves. Every decision becomes an opportunity to ask, how can love express itself here? Deep dive. Perhaps the deepest invitation of the sixth commandment is not simply do not kill. It is learn to recognize yourself within all life. As long as we experience ourselves as fundamentally separate, compassion naturally has limits. We protect those we identify with. We disregard those we do not. The journey toward wholeness gradually dissolves these boundaries. Love becomes less conditional. Compassion becomes less selective. The circle widens. This does not eliminate the complexity of life. Living itself involves difficult choices. Nature contains both birth and death. Creation unfolds through continual transformation. Yet, even within this complexity, our orientation can remain clear. Move toward compassion. Move toward reverence. Move toward reducing unnecessary suffering whenever possible. The sixth commandment, therefore, becomes an invitation to expand the heart, not merely toward humanity, but toward life itself. As unconditional love matures, the question slowly changes, no longer who deserves my compassion, but how can I become compassion? Reflection. How do I respond when I encounter suffering? Have I allowed anger or resentment to diminish my compassion? Do my words give life or diminish it? Do my choices contribute to the flourishing of others? Where have I become indifferent to suffering simply because it feels distant from me? What would it mean to become a guardian of life in my daily relationships? The sixth commandment reminds us that reverence for life begins long before violence appears. It begins with the recognition that every life possesses a dignity worthy of compassion. Where compassion grows, separation begins to heal. Where reverence for life deepens, wholeness draws near. Where love becomes unconditional, separation quietly disappears.